Okay, story time about how a guy asked me to do a modeling job for him, but in reality just wanted to crack. And before I start the story, what makes this even crazier is I'm not a model. My Instagram following is very minimal. Like, it's not crazy. Snapchat, it's not crazy either. Like, it's bigger, but it's not crazy. TikTok, not there either. I just happen to run into people, which is like what makes me more known, I guess. Point is, I'm no one important, so keep that in mind. So he adds me on Snap. He texts me asking me if I'm a model. Obviously, I tell the truth and I tell him, no, I'm not. I just take pictures for fun. Okay, stay with me because this is where he first blew me. He goes, oh, because I seen your Instagram and it said fashion model, so I thought you were a model. Mind you, the little Instagram thing at the top that people just put there for fun and shits and gigs. But I was like, okay, I'll let it pass. That was a yellow flag. He then proceeds to say, oh, I own my own clothing brand. Here are my clothes. And while he's like showing me the clothes, he says, well, you're not a model, but like you're still pretty. So, you know, you can work. And I'm like, okay, like I'm going to get a couple dollars, like do a little gig, like just like a friendly favor. Because I know better, so I looked up the brand that he has. Like, it's a real brand. He had another girl model, like another pretty girl that very looked similar to me. So it's like, I see you have a vision. But yeah, so I was like, I mean, I can do it for a couple dollars. But I did not tell him that. I was like, oh, the clothes are nice. Like, you know, that's cool. You got a whole thing going for you. I'm trying to get to the meat and potatoes of the situation. Tell me about you before I talk about me and what I'm going to do. Because I don't give a fuck if your brand is real, if you're weird or you're scammy. No. Also, it was throwing me off that you wanted me because it's like, I'm not a professional model, but you also have an Instagram brand. So that's kind of not crazy to just find random girls like on social media that you think are cute. So at the time I'm getting all this, I'm with my friend, like my best friend, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh, we're going to get matching sets. Like, we're just going to run this naked for a couple matching sets. Oh, those matching sets came with the price. Not paying. So after I continued to like ask him questions about like himself and his brand, like I was kind of like avoiding the modeling thing, and he just kind of kept coming back to it and then just getting very like irritable and impatient with me. It's like, if you're a businessman and I'm asking questions, why is it a problem I'm asking questions? Okay, so anyway, I'm like, how's the whole modeling thing work? Like, what does this entail of? Like, do I get paid? Do I have, like, what do I have to do? Like, step by step, tell me what I have to do before I agree to something that I don't even know. Like, I don't even know you. No answer. The answer was shit. He was like, basically, I have two types of people, and some, like, real models, they just do it for, like, promotional. But, like, there's other people who buy my stuff and then like support, like do it to support me, because you know I already have like a lot of other models, but you know, like like you can do it too. So I'm like, huh? So I'm like, what do you want me to do since I'm not a real model? Like, do you like, in order for me to model, do I have to pay you $110 for your shit ass matching set? No, sir. So he tells me, oh, but like it's different for you, like, you know, like you can be my exception. Listen to me. Never in life are there exceptions without additional things to it. Like, it's never just like, oh, you're the special one, especially dealing with a guy. And from what I could tell, a guy like him, he does not do favors or exceptions or little changes. So boom, we keep talking about it. I'm not agreeing to it. And then he's just like subtly still like flirting with me. He's like, oh yeah, beautiful. Like, you know, just everything, dropping a compliment. And I'm like, you're not a professional. I'm starting to see what you're doing, because this modeling contract or whatever it was going to be comes with a little something else. So once he's seeing like I really wasn't messing with his modeling system because it was confusing as fuck, we just started talking about other things, like how our days had been and stuff like that. Once again, he's very weird. And then he hits me with the, I'm about to get in the shower. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Like, why are you telling me you're about to wash your ass? I don't give a fuck. And then he proceeds to snap me a towel picture. And that's when I texted my friend. I'm like, baby, there's no plan. We are not getting those matching sets, because if I do this for him, I would get a matching set, I would get beautiful pictures, and get cracked. The first two options, lovely, sure. Last option, not happening, I'm sorry. And he wasn't even ugly. It's just, I don't like guys with no self-respect. Like, you just met me today. You just think I'm cute, and you just want to, for your shit modeling thing, like, baby, I get if you was Vogue. Like, I'll pop a little something Vogue, but you're an Instagram brand. I'm technically doing you a favor. So after that, I was just being nice, but I was being dry, because it's like, you just threw me off. Like, okay, like, we were talking about something so unrelated, and now I have you naked at the top and toweled at the bottom. Like, what's going on? After that, he just continued to flirt with me, like, in the midst of our conversations while sending me clothes, and continued to just be, like, a little inappropriate. And then, stay with me, next thing you know, he drops his roommate is out of town and he has his house to himself. I then tell him, what are you trying to say with that? Like, what angle are you trying to get at? And he then tells me that, like, you know, he's trying to just bluntly, upfrontly, just there in your face. And honey, I wish I would give up Nunu for a Timo modeling job. Like, and honestly, I don't even know if he was being serious about it to this day, because I know certain guys would just do the most for cooch. But I just felt like it was funny. Like, I just felt like I had to share it, because it's like, you are just so, like, the whole experience was just a fat question mark. But anyway, that was my little yap.
You ready with me while I talk about why me and my boyfriend don't want to get married right after having our baby? So one of the main reasons is we want to be able to afford a wedding where we can get good food and invite all of our friends and have like a big ceremony and a big wedding. And we can't really do that while we're also paying for everything for a baby and still working at a restaurant, not really have like our full careers in line. Another reason is we weren't going to get married before. We're not going to get married just because we had a baby. We want to get married because we love each other and we want to share that with our friends and family through a ceremony, not just because we had a baby and somebody told us we should. Ever since I was really little, I've always wanted to have like a big prom, a big wedding, and like a big sweet 16. And I never got prom because I graduated school 2 years early. And I never had a sweet 16 because I spent it on a trip with my best friend instead. So the last like hope I have to have a big event like that is my wedding. And a lot of people said I should just get married now and have an actual wedding later, but I feel like to me that just kind of defeats the purpose of the wedding. I want that to be the day, our anniversary day, the day we get together, the day we're married. Like, I want that to be the day. So I said I wanted to be mature for my wedding. By that, I meant I want to look like my adult self that I'm going to look like for a majority of my life. I want to have my wedding pictures that I'm going to hang up in my future house, pictures that I actually enjoy myself as an adult. Having a baby matured me mentally, but physically, I still have so much more maturing to do until I become an actual adult. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that I don't want to marry my boyfriend. I 100% intend to marry him one day. Just now doesn't seem like the time because of everything going on, and we can't afford the wedding we want, and we don't have our lifelong friends yet. You know, as a teenager, friends come and go. Everyone who's ever been a teenager knows that. So once we have the people that we know are going to stay in our lives, and our family is able to come out and all that, then that's going to be the time we're going to get married. Get ready with me while I talk about my birth story at 17. So I went into early labor at about 36 weeks pregnant, and about a week before that, I started having like contractions, especially at night. The contractions were all in my back and none of them were in my stomach, so I didn't really know if they were contractions or not until I actually went into labor and it felt the same. It wasn't something bad enough to where I felt like I was in labor. I just thought maybe it was Braxton Hicks getting really bad. The day before I actually gave birth, I was having a lot of really bad contractions, and that morning I lost my plug. And I was at work and I told everyone, like, I think I'm starting to have contractions, like, I think I'm going into labor. And a lot of people just brushed it off and was like, no, you're fine. You're probably just having Braxton Hicks, like, it's fine. And I was supposed to work a double that day, but I ended up only working my first shift because I had to ask to get off early and have someone cover my second shift because I was in so much pain. I couldn't stand in one place, but I also needed to sit down, and I kind of was just like sit, stand, walk around, all that. So once I got off work, I had to wait for my boyfriend to get off because he was driving me home. So I went to like a booth at the restaurant and I sat in it and I fell asleep on the table. And then eventually when he got off, we went home, he dropped me off, and then he had to work a second shift. I remember I was just laying in bed and it kept happening. So I told my mom, and even my mom and my dad were both also like, that's gonna happen for the next few weeks. Like, that's what happens when you get to the end of your pregnancy. And I was like, I don't think it's supposed to hurt this bad. Eventually, my mom kind of got skeptical, and she was like, we'll see how you feel in the morning. If you still feel like that, we'll see if they want you to come in. All night long, I was having contractions. I started timing them. They were about 3 to 6 minutes apart, and I did not sleep 5 minutes that day. So that morning, I woke up and I went in my mom's room at like 6:30 in the morning, and I was like, Mom, I think, like, I'm starting to think I'm going into labor. And she was like, well, the doctor's office doesn't open till 8:30, so we'll call them and see if they want you to come in. I kept laboring from my room until about 8 a.m. My water broke, so I yelled at my mom and I'm like, Mom, I'm pretty sure my water just broke, like, we need to go. And so she was like, okay, but then I wanted to shower first because I didn't want to be covered in all that moistness. So I showered and then we went to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, we went in through the ER. I told the lady I thought I was in labor, filled out the paperwork, and they wheelchaired me up to a room. When the nurse checked me, she looked at me and was basically just like, you're having a baby today. I was already 6 centimeters dilated and my water broke. So at this time, I had to make the choice if I wanted the epidural or not. So she gave me about an hour to think about it, and eventually I went with getting the epidural. At first, my plan was not to get one, but I kind of caved to be more comfortable. When I was 8 centimeters dilated, I got the epidural. The epidural didn't really hurt. It kind of felt like really warm fluid in my back. Like if somebody took a pressure washer on a warm setting and just pushed it down my back. And then it took me a minute to not feel anything. Like, I was still feeling my contractions for about 30 minutes. Then eventually, it all went numb. At about, like, 3:45, I started to push. And the doctor wasn't in the room yet. So she had to tell me to stop pushing because she didn't want me to deliver the baby without the doctor in the room. Eventually, he came in and I started pushing. She asked me if I wanted a mirror, and I said no because that would freak me out. But I kept pushing and pushing and pushing every time I had a contraction, and about 25 minutes of pushing, she was here. She came out and they handed me to her, and I remember just being like, she's so small. They're like, yeah, she's a baby. And I was like, does she have to go to the NICU because she was early? And they're like, we're checking, but it doesn't look like it. And then I was like, did I tear? And I didn't tear, thank God. It's because I drank that raspberry leaf tea. I didn't feel like I couldn't do anything after. Then that day I was walking around. I wasn't in a lot of pain. I was like sore, but not as bad as I had ever thought it would be. The only thing is we had to stay at the hospital for 5 days. And she was born 2 days before Thanksgiving, so we were in the hospital for Thanksgiving. Because she had jaundice, and they never put her under the blue light. They just kind of wanted to monitor her to make sure they didn't have to, which I found really annoying because I did not want to stay in the hospital for 5 days, especially for Thanksgiving. But it is what it is. I'm glad she was healthy, and that's all I could have ever asked for.
Ready with me while I tell you how I found out I was pregnant at 15. My boyfriend and I got together in September of 2023, so we had been together for a year. In September of 2024, we had just been together for a year when I noticed that I wasn't getting my period. So let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit. I was at wrestling practice one day and I called my friend and I told her that I'd been cramping but I hadn't gotten my period yet. After I told her that I think I'm pregnant, she told me that I'm probably not and I'm probably just gaslighting myself. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I'm gonna wait till the end of the month. I'll probably get my period. So the end of the month rolls around and I still hadn't gotten my period. So at this point, like, I'm freaking out because I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. And of course, just my luck, right as the end of the month hit and I didn't get my period, a hurricane hit and it literally wiped out the world for about a week. So can you imagine little 15-year-old me thinking she's pregnant, stuck in her house with her family, and there's no phones, no internet, no nothing? Do y'all want to know what I was doing? I was picking up limbs out the yard from the hurricane. So the hurricane hits, I'm freaking out, and I low-key forget that I'm thinking I'm pregnant until the world comes back to life. After the world comes back to life and I remember that I think I'm pregnant, I text one of my friends and we immediately go to the gym. So I literally could not work out because of how much I was stressing. I just could not have a good workout, so we cut the workout short and we went to Walgreens. After she went into Walgreens and she bought me a test, she dropped me off at Walmart where my boyfriend was. I met up with my boyfriend, then I went to the bathroom and I took the test. I went in that Walmart bathroom all alone, didn't even tell my boyfriend I was taking the test, and I went and took it, and before I could even pull my pants back up, those two bright lines were popping back at me saying that I was pregnant. I wish I would have recorded that moment of me finding out I was pregnant, but I was like too freaked out. I just needed to know, so I just did it. After that, I found my boyfriend and I told him, and then we literally just left Walmart after that. But yeah, that's how I found out I was pregnant at 15. And then I had my sweet baby girl in May of 2025 at 16. Bye guys, love y'all.
This is literally freaking crazy, like bananas, batshit. I think one of my neighbors is having an affair with one of my other neighbors. How do I know this? Because of the invention of the Ring camera. Come on. Nobody can get away with shit nowadays. So tell me why. I'm watching my Ring camera the other day because I'm bored and have nothing to do. Nothing better to do with my life than to watch what's going on outside my house. And for one straight week, I have watched my neighbor, my male neighbor, okay, the husband, leave for work. And not 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes later, another car, another man drives up to the house and walks in. Now, I don't know much about this couple, so they could be with it, right? But it just seems very secretive. And yesterday, I zoomed in because the dude that showed up to the house had a little bag, bag in his hand. And I'm like, what is that? So I zoomed in and it said spicy cubes. And then I looked up what the spicy cubes were. And of course, they're like aphrodisiac gummies to like get you going. So I'm like, oh shit. Like, that's not her man. And these are very freaky things to be just coming over your friend's house with. So obviously she's having an affair. And it's just like, oh, what do I do? Do I just like sit back and watch the soap opera? Or do I like really not mind my business and go tell this man like, hey, your wife is cheating on you. Like, and here are my Ring camera receipts to prove it. Like, would that be the nice thing to do? Or would that be the dumbass thing to do? Please let me know.
I haven't been posting or on this account at all in like weeks. But today I'm going to tell you guys how I found out I was pregnant with her at 17. I'm now 19 and she is a year old. So my story is actually really funny because it's just crazy. So I found out I was pregnant like a couple days before me and my boyfriend's 1-year anniversary, and we were on a camping trip with my family. And like I just felt kind of weird, and I was like really hungry, and I was like gagging at everything. Like my brother spit a piece of food out and I just threw up. So then my mom was going to the store, like, because we were gonna go swimming, me and my boyfriend went back to his house on the camping trip to like shower, get ourselves together. And I texted my mom and I was like, will you give me a pregnancy test, because like I think my period's late. My period was not late yet. I literally just thought it was and didn't even think to check my app. It wasn't even close to late. But the next morning, it was like I waited through the night. The next morning, on our camping trip, we were camping in tents. Like, it was tent camping, not like camper camping. It was actual like camping. And this camping spot had like a little hill that you went down. And then my dad had his boat parked there. So I went down there. I squatted and I peed on a pregnancy test. I still have it. It's in my closet. I peed on it. And then I put it back in the wrapper, and I went back up to my tent. I'm sorry, this is so funny. I went back up to my tent, and I was like, oh, like, to my boyfriend. We were sleeping in the same tent. We were 17, okay? My parents weren't strict. I was on birth control. We were using condoms. Nothing crazy, because we were 17. He was literally turning 18 in a couple days. Not a couple days, like a couple weeks. I was turning 18 that October. It was like May. So it wasn't crazy because we had been together for like a year. We've had sleepovers since the very beginning. Blah blah blah. Normal teenager shit. Don't come at me for what we were doing. But I was like, you look first, and he looked, and it was just like pregnant. Not like pregnant, but it had 2 lines. I have it. I'll get it out. I'll show you guys. It was so bright, and I was like, oh my god, I thought I just had a UTI. Like, what? Like, what? There's a baby. Yeah. And he just goes, what does 2 lines mean? And I was like, oh my god, no way. And then I just started like crying because like, what do you mean? Like, I'm 17. I'm so old. I did graduate. I did all my school, and I'm very successful. Okay. And yeah, and I was like, oh my god. And then I started crying, and he just goes, shut up, your mom's gonna hear you, shut up. I told my mom the same day. But yeah, that's basically it. I just think it's funny that I thought my period was late, and it wasn't, and then I ended up actually being pregnant. It's like my mind knew. And now, a year later, we have this cute little thing, and we love her more than anything, and we're still together, and we're happy, and we plan on getting engaged the same month that we found out we were pregnant. 2 years ago. I found out I was pregnant almost 2 years ago, and she's 1. But yeah, that's all. I'm gonna be more consistent in posting now because I am still stay-at-home mom. I got a job, and then I backed out of it. I will make a video on that, or I'll talk about it in a video, but yeah.
Story time about how I became homeless and pregnant with 2 toddlers. So if you've been following along, you kind of know a little bit about how I got there. My husband committed suicide in our home in front of all of us, and he died from a gunshot wound to the head. So as you can imagine, it's very graphic and messy. Well, when somebody dies like that in your house, you have to have crime scene cleaners and stuff like that come in to your house and like clean it up because it's biohazard. And since I was pregnant and like we had small kids, it was even more important that we were not in that environment. So pretty much from like the night that he died, we never stayed there again. I went back a couple of times during the day to pack stuff that I needed for myself and the kids, but like pretty much from the moment he died, we were done living there. But anyway, I lived with my in-laws, and everybody who knew us prior to Ethan's passing knew that that was not going to last long. Like, we were all being cordial for the purposes of the funeral because this was something that was difficult for all of us. And I think we were just trying to make it like as smooth as possible for all of us because we all knew that we were struggling. But anyway, about 19 days into living with them, my mother-in-law does what my mother-in-law does best. And I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm not gonna get into all of that's a story time for another day. But anyway, didn't work out, so I moved out into my grandparents' house, and my grandma was helping me watch my kids while I went back to school. And I was like doing things like applying for survivor's benefits, filling out the paperwork for his life insurance policy, like all this stuff I have to go and spend hours doing paperwork for. Anyway, my grandma was helping me, and then that became just too overwhelming for her, And I started coming home and my son was like telling me that my grandma was being mean to him. And I asked her about it. I didn't even accuse her of anything. I just asked her. I was like, why is he saying that you're being mean? Like, what's going on? Because nobody was really taking into consideration that my son was 2.5 years old and he just witnessed a graphic suicide. So, like, he had some crazy behaviors. Like, he was not an easy kid to deal with. And I completely understand that. But also, like, as an adult, why can't you look at the situation and go, oh yeah, like the true magnitude of what this kid just experienced is something I can't even begin to fathom in my adult brain, and like give him some more grace. Like, I feel like people were not very understanding of not even just me but my kids. I think that's what hurt the most too, because like, I don't know, it's one thing if it's me, but it was really hurtful to watch them disregard like what he was really carrying. Anyway, that's how I ended up moving with my aunt, and that blows up in my fucking face. Like, just absolutely blows up in my face. I found out after moving with her that she had a job in like 8 months. She was super behind on her mortgage, like reaching the point of foreclosure, and I was a bailout. Because everyone was like, well, she's gonna get life insurance and she's gonna get all this money, and they're thinking that I'm just gonna bail her out and pay the mortgage that hasn't been getting paid for 6 months and whatever, you know. And now maybe I would have if I was gonna be staying there for a long time, but because she was dealing with some substance abuse issues and would not go get treatment, even though I brought her to a treatment facility to get her help. That was my stipulations. You're gonna get help and I'll help you, or I'm gone. And so that's what happened. I was gone and we packed up and we moved again. And all of this happens, these other 2 moves happen within 2 weeks of each other. So it's not even been a full 30 days at this point since my husband died, and we've lived in like 3 different places, and I'm pregnant. I have a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. Like, it was just so much. It was so insane. And then that's how we ended up in the hotel, which I'll insert a clip of one of the hotels that we stayed at. It was like one of those long-term stays, so it had a kitchen and stuff. But going back and looking at those videos, I just get so emotional because I cannot believe that I was homeless and pregnant with kids. Like, as a mother, I can never imagine my children being homeless because of like a crazy life event like that, like their spouse commits suicide. I could never leave my child to just fend for themselves. I cannot imagine treating my kids the way that my parents treated me when I went through what I went through. Like, it's just so mind-boggling. But the reason why I couldn't get my own place is because I didn't have any pay stubs. I hadn't worked in 3 years at that point. Ethan was the provider. I stayed home. And so I was trying to go back to school to get my med aid license so I could pass meds, because I was already a CNA. But passing meds is 1, easier on your body. I was pregnant, and 2, it pays better. So it just was like the better choice. And the class was only like 4 weeks long, but yeah, I was trying to do all that so that I could get pay stubs so that I could apply for a place. Thankfully, I found somebody who was willing to work with me because he was a private landlord. And we were only homeless for like 3 weeks, but like, oh my God. And one of the Airbnbs I stayed in, Jeremy came and stayed with me one of the nights because I was like so terrified. It was literally in the ghetto. That was horrible. That was just such a bad time in my life. And every time I look back at those photos and those videos, I just get super emotional because Like, I know it's not my fault, but like, I feel like it is my fault. Like, I feel like I failed my kids. I cannot believe we were homeless for even 3 weeks. And then when I think about the Brazilian Jenkins, which this is so chronically online, sorry if you guys don't know who they are, but when I think about the Brazilian Jenkins and how long they've been homeless, I just don't know how she's doing it. Like, could be because I lived like that for 3 weeks and it was hell. I don't know how she's doing it, but yeah, that's how we were homeless. Hopefully that will, not hopefully, that will never happen again. I have set my life up very differently now, but yeah, it was tough. Definitely don't ever want to go back to that.
Hey guys, today I am going to share with you guys all the batshit crazy things I did for my ex, because why not? So I'm just gonna get right into it. I wrote a list and let's go. So number one is I left my whole independent lifestyle. I had my own apartment and car, job, everything, and I moved to a whole nother state for him. As soon as I got there, I realized it was just a party lifestyle, and he was carless, and we used my car to go to the clubs and burned it up until that car was no longer with me. I got his name tatted on me to prove my loyalty to him, and also gaslit. He told me that he was going to get my name tatted with his sleeve, and left that part out. I went completely manic, mainly because I had stayed up for probably a week straight. This guy would talk to me at night and keep me, like, prevent me from sleeping, and just tell me this loop of psychotic stuff about how I'm disrespectful, how can I treat him like this is why he always dates the older woman, and all types of crazy stuff. He also did that when I was pregnant too, like preventing me to sleep and just being drunk and like belligerent, like it was crazy. I was treated like a slave, like literally had to make sure the house was spotless, pack his lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If he didn't like his lunch, if there wasn't enough protein, he'd be like, what the fuck is this? I don't want this. Go make me a fucking sandwich, like shit like that. And I had my best friend over and I started bawling my eyes out because he literally did this stuff right after I gave birth. When I first had to move with my mom, he would break up with me like every other day and go partying in Houston and all types of stuff. And so one night I did talk to an old guy friend that I used to have a fling with. He was in the Marines. He had a girlfriend. We literally just had one FaceTime call, and that FaceTime call was still in my log. He found out about that and used that against me for everything, like how I cheated on him and how could I ever cheat on him. I told you, like, if you cheat on me, then it would change everything. And so 2 weeks after I gave birth to our beautiful daughter, he went and put his dick in some female's mouth, and I had the messages and everything from him and this chick, and he looked at me and said, what are you talking about? Then he finally admitted it and said, there's no way that you think what I did is worse than what you did. I only did what I did because of what you did. And if you don't believe what you did is worse, then you don't deserve to be with me. Yeah. Okay, so I had gotten my own place whenever I had to move in with my mom the first time, walked to work every day, made my bread, got my own apartment. He came, moved with me. Shortly after I became pregnant, he was like off and on with jobs, never had a consistent job. I worked until I was 8 months pregnant, but his twin brother would come down and he would make me like take him to the clubs, pick him up from clubs, be sitting in a McDonald's parking lot until 4 in the morning, knowing that I had work the next day, when he told me they were going to be out by 2, and then be super drunk and then keep me up at night just talking my head off about how can I be a woman like this, and he could get bitches that treat him better, and off and on, and they're just crazy. So then he also kicked me and my daughter out at 3 in the morning, and when I had been in a rush to pack up our stuff in like a diaper bag, I realized his phone was in there. How? I don't know. So I went to the door to return it back to him, and he said, just know, if you enter my house, you finna get shot. And I said, nobody's gonna get shot, it's just me, I have your phone. Yeah, I should have left that time. And never went back. Because he, manipulated me, said he loved me, and he's so sorry, he was never gonna drink again, and he would do anything for his family, him being alone. Turned out that he only wanted me back for my tax money. Yes, he got all $6,000 something of my money, and I didn't see a dime, except for the engine that I had bought that had to get returned. He said, oh, since that was something that we dealt with together, you could get half of it back. So that was only $700 something out of my $6,000. He kicked me out for the second time, and that time he came back maybe like 3 days later at my mom's house, begging for me back, thinking he was just gonna flirt his way back and bat his eyes. And he told me that he only kicked me out because he wanted to go to a condo with his friends and these girls, and he didn't know what I was gonna say. And he's talking to me, meanwhile there's literally a girl's perfume bottle on the floor. So needless to say, the second time he kicked me out, I never ever went back, thank God. And it's been quite hell, even though he's not here. He up and left, but he hasn't been paying child support. When we have court, he lies under oath so bad, tries to manipulate the judge. Like, it's actually insane to see how crazy he is. and he calls welfare checks on me consistently. Thankfully, I have my own place now and I've been able to get some rest, but that really like messed up with my sleeping, because imagine having the police at your house at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and you gotta like get your daughter out of bed and show them like, hey, I'm okay, my daughter's safe, we're all good. Like, that's annoying. But yeah, like I've done a lot of crazy shit for this guy, and when you're in this kind of situation, you don't really know how bad it is until you see outsiders' perspective and like other people talking to you about what they witnessed. And because I honestly days do this shit, like I'd have him talk to me like that, like believe that I'm just such a disrespectful person and I'm a really bad woman and all types of stuff. But when you get the chance to leave, girlfriend, leave. I'm telling you, it's so better over here.
So when I was 17, my parents got divorced, and I guess my dad, like, lost the divorce money-wise, in the sense that he had full custody of me, and I lived with him. He paid for everything. He had to pay for my college tuition, my graduate school tuition, and then he also had to give my mom a lot of money, and then she didn't have to pay child support. So years later, when I was in my 20s, I decided to ask my dad, like, what happened? How could you lose the divorce so bad? Like, was your lawyer really bad? Or, like, how did that happen exactly? And he just said, like, I couldn't fight your mom because I had to be able to sleep at night. And that made me realize that I am my father's daughter. I make a lot of decisions so that I'm able to sleep at night. Because sometimes it's not about money, and it's not about getting caught, it's not about getting in trouble. It's literally just about, between me and me, am I able to live with this thing that I did? Am I able to fall asleep at night? Or am I going to be up tossing and turning thinking about this? Anyway, I love my dad. He's amazing. He's my major role model, and this is just one of those examples.
So back in high school, there was like this classic high school couple. He was the quarterback, she was a cheerleader. Everyone was like, they're gonna get married. High school sweethearts, so cute. And they're both Mormon. Her family wasn't Mormon. She converted for this guy, and he and his family, they're like Mormons, like pillars of the community Mormons. Like they were like a prominent Mormon family, okay? Keeping up with the Joneses style. And so they graduated from high school. She goes to college, and he goes on his mission, his Mormon mission, at like some really remote place. And like during this time, missionaries like don't communicate very often with their families. Like they can like send letters or emails or whatever. You can call them on the phone like on Mother's Day and Christmas, I think, are like the only times. I think it's changed now, but that was how it was back in the day. And she's being like a really great like missionary girlfriend, typical missionary girlfriend on social media, like posting about it, like, oh, like updates, this and that, while he's on his mission. One day, her social media goes dark. She deletes all of it. Months go by. She comes back. New social media, new man. She had met somebody, a return missionary, at college, and she had Dear John'd her boyfriend, the quarterback, now ex-boyfriend. Just broke up with him via letter. Was like, I met somebody else. And she was engaged to this return missionary. Her quarterback ex, in this remote place on his mission, came back early from his mission upon hearing all of this news from her. And that's apparently a very big no-no in Mormon culture. Like, if you go on your mission, you're supposed to, it's like 2 years. You're like going to serve 2 years. So it's kind of like the equivalent of like being dishonorably discharged, essentially, I guess. He comes back early, and remember, his family, prominent Mormon family in the community. So this is like shameful. And they're like, what are you doing? You cannot be serious. Don't embarrass us. He doesn't care. He's like not even halfway through his mission at this point. He enrolls in the college that she's at to try and win her back. And so she's like, I broke up with you. I'm engaged to this other guy. No. And I guess it kind of turns into like this creepy stalker situation. Yikes. So, in retaliation, because cheerleader girl won't take quarterback guy back. In retaliation, this guy starts hooking up with her best friend. Just nasty behavior all around. And guess what? Those two, quarterback and best friend, they get pregnant. They get pregnant very soon. And these are all Mormons. So of course there's no like to the pregnancy, right? They're moving forward with the pregnancy. And of course, again, this guy's family, he's like giving them aneurysms with his behavior. They're like, are you kidding? You cannot be serious. So, of course, they have a shotgun wedding. They start planning a shotgun wedding. They don't want this child to be had out of wedlock. These two, the quarterback and the best friend that got together, scheduled their wedding day, their shotgun wedding day, to be the day before the cheerleader's actual wedding to her return missionary. That is so, I just think that's pathetic. This was years ago. I never forgot. I just told the story the other day to somebody because I was like, just so you know, like, if you feel bad about this, like, her problem that she was going through, I was like, listen to this. Their whole life, like, happened because of this girl, this cheerleader. They defined their life out of spite for her. And that's pretty crazy to me. Anyway, that's just some small town gossip for you right there.
Yes, this is very true, as long as the Heimlich is done afterwards.
Hi girlies, I am Bianca, Bonkers for Bionkers, aka Binky, and I really want to use my personal TikTok to tell my very real, very true, spooky stories. So, the first one I'm going to tell you is a very real story that happened to my mom's coworker, and it is the number one reason. One of the number one reasons why ever since I heard this story, and even before that, just because of like my own values, will not kiss strangers that I have met at clubs or bars. Do not skip this video. You need to hear this. The girlies, the baddies that are out on the weekends all the time, that love to date around and are very spontaneous when it comes to meeting people. Listen, girly, especially with all of the Epstein filets coming out, this is not so uncommon as you might think. So the story goes, very true as well, right? Let me tell you that. My mom's coworker had a friend who went on a girls' trip to Mexico. They went clubbing, they went to the bars, they had a lovely time, everything was great. One night they go to this club where there are very handsome men around, and one man in specific stands out to one of the girlies in the group. He's really handsome, he's very like charismatic, he has a really cute, lovable personality, and he's getting along really well with the group. Miss Girly is making out with this guy. They're having a great time. Things are leading up to another, and he's inviting her over to his place. So he wants to remove her from where she currently is with her friends to go take her to another place, right? So that we know, this man looks like he got that money on him, and you know, there really is no reason to want to reject him. The girlies in the group, the other girlies are like hearing this, right? She's trying to leave with him, and they're like, absolutely not. You do not know this man. You just met him. He seems cute and fun and all and sweet, but we just do not know him. Like, why are you trying to leave? That's a big no-no. You are not going. Thank God these girlies were girls, and their intuition really set in. The girlfriend was obviously really intoxicated as well. She's feeling the vibes. Hey, drinks are poured up. The girlie returns to the US, right? And she starts growing this very weird black growth on her mouth. And she goes to the doctor because she's like, this is really painful. It's gotten to the point where it's just disgusting. Like, what is happening to me? Right? The doctors do some tests. They biopsy this disgusting growth that has appeared, and They sit her down and they're basically like, girly, I'm gonna sit you down and hold your hand when I say this. Have you been to any funerals lately? Have you recently had a deceased person in your life that maybe you got really close to and you happen to kiss, or you happen to, you know, share bodily fluids with? We're just really trying to understand if you've been around any dead people. This girl was taken aback. What do you mean? No, nobody has passed away in my family recently. I haven't been to any funerals. How is this related at all to my lip concern? The doctor again. I'm gonna have to sit you down and hold your hand when I say this. What you have developed on your mouth is a flesh-eating disease that is caused by interactions with human rotting flesh. This girly right away scurries to the police, gives them as much information as he can. The story starts unfolding and we start finding out more about this man, right? That's the only stranger that she knows, that she absolutely cannot really trace back and, you know, say that, oh, I trust them and I know that they're safe and clean and healthy. They end up going into this man's facility where he was trying to take her, right? And there are multiple dead bodies. Tourists and women that bodies have been mingled with, whose bodies have been mingled with after death. They have been sexually assaulted while alive and dead for days and weeks on end. It is also speculated that this man consumed parts of the rotting flesh of these women. And that has led him to spread this disease to other women that he happens to meet, kiss, and encounter. And the whole plan and the whole scheme of things is for him to lure these women with his charm back into his place to continue the cycle and keep doing it to other women. That is absolutely horrifying. I've always been a germaphobe, but when I heard this story, I was like, this is the ultimate reason why I'm a germaphobe. These people are scary. They're disgusting. They exist. And this is not just something that happens in horror movies or, you know, oh my God, you guys are so dramatic. Like, this stuff doesn't happen. This happened to people that my mom's coworkers knew, personally knew. Be careful how excited and intoxicated you get, because when you do, that leads you to make suspicious decisions that could really, really lead to your downfall and demise. Thank goodness for those girly girls that really looked out for their friend and were like guardian angels for her, because she would have been no longer. She would have been lost, missing. I leave this for the girlies that are a little bit crazy. I'm talking to you, girl. Who are a little bit spontaneous, who are not careful. Monsters and the most evil people on the outside are very approachable, are very beautiful to look at, because it's the easiest way to lure them in. I leave you to think about that, and I'm going to leave many, many more story times for you girlies to enjoy and to listen and to learn from. I've had many experiences. I feel like I'm very spiritually in tune, and you know, I have certain gifts as well that people who are close to me know about, because I have seen some crazy things. The paranormal, the uncertain we don't know about. I am a strong believer in God, the universe, higher beings than us, right? I am a Christian, so I believe in Christ. Just need to put that out there, right? But I also feel like I'm spiritually in tune, and my family and I have used God to guide us. And I think that when you're open-minded, he opens the opportunities for you even more to experience things that not the average person does. Thank you for listening.
You guys love each other, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. That will go away.
Hello everybody, get ready with me, but not too much on this, okay? So I feel like everybody needs an update low-key because where I left you guys off was not okay. I left you guys off where this guy that I went to go hang out with, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. The guy that I went to go hang out with basically cut me off and was like, I don't want you, I don't want this. And basically that is what happened. He doesn't want me. He unadded me on Snapchat. He still has me on TikTok and Instagram. So I don't know about that. And he still has my number. I haven't blocked him. But I do miss him, guys. But let me give you some more tea. So basically, I think post-heartbreak glow up is a real thing because I'm getting hot. But basically, so after him, you know, I don't know who I am. So basically, have this thing going on with this other guy. Mind you, I meet them all online, but they all live relevantly close, okay? But I have this thing going on with this other guy where he was like, we're supposed to hang out, but at first I didn't want to hang out, okay? I wasn't that into him. But as time grew on, I'm like, okay, I want to see you, let's hang out. So over Christmas break, he went on vacation, and he was like, when I get back, we have to hang out. And I was like, okay, we will. So basically, we couldn't figure out what to do. So he was like, you could come over. And I was like, okay, But basically, now he keeps pushing off the fact that we need to hang out. And he's like, oh, I don't know when we can, yeah. And mind you, this doesn't make me feel good. Savannah likes this guy, okay? Savannah likes this guy a lot. I snap him all the time. And I want to see him. But it's he's not cutting me off, but he's not telling me he doesn't want anything, but he's getting, weirder. But, so basically, I was like, when do you think we can hang out? And he was like, oh, I don't know when we can. I don't know yet. And I was like, okay, well, if you don't know, then I feel like I shouldn't have to sit around and wait till you do. He says, do you twin? Excuse me? You said what to me? Anyway, I don't know what we are, but I'm still number 1 on his best friends list. He doesn't really go anywhere. I'm always looking at his location. The only place he goes is to get food, and he has a schooling program. He doesn't go to actual school. He does a program, and he goes to that, and he doesn't really go anywhere else. But then there's this other guy that had added me, and he was calling me pretty and stuff, and I was like, all right, whatever. Cause he's younger than me, so I'm not that into him. But I've been talking to him more, and he invited me to this party, in the February 6th, I think it is. And I'm gonna go to that, and my friend's gonna drive, and then I'll let you guys know how that goes. But basically, I just miss my original man. I just miss the man that I hung out with. I miss him. And then yesterday, me, and basically he was already flirting, and I was like, okay, I know you're a hoe, whatever. And he was like, when can I see you, da 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 da. And then I shared my location. And I was like, I had told him he was far, and I was like, but we could still hang out. He was 40 minutes. But then I go to check, and I'm blocked. Don't know what that's about. But, so basically, Savannah's in her hoe error. It's just basically the fact that my heart was shattered. Oh, and let me tell you guys about my new freaking semester because I switched classes. What the fuck? Tell me why my English teacher picks his nose. Tell me why I got math first fucking block. And tell me why people I know are finding this account. Right. Also, I actually am getting a glow up. I got my hair done and my makeup's been eating and I'm going to the gym. But, if he wants to come back, he's so willing to come back. Just text me, babe. We can hang out. I don't know. I feel like I won't get over him for a while because I seriously did like him and he's an asshole. But, he's literally like me, but not me. I don't know.
this year definitely is going to be something. I'm definitely going to every party I can, and you know, I don't know, you know, this year I'm just living for the plot, like dead ass. And I swear I look so mean, like my resting bitch face is bad, but I swear I'm so nice. Like you can talk to me and I'll literally talk to you. I'm shy and I'm so nice. Like I don't know, I wish I had like a mixed friend group, low-key, or more friends with guys, because like these concerts that are coming, like I just feel like my friends are like, you know, like singular friends. Like I don't have like a mixed friend group, and I can't have people from my school because everyone from my school sucks. And the functions that I go to are for this other school, and I don't go to that school. And then my friend is friends with them. It doesn't go well when I go to parties, okay? Let's just say that. But I think I'm gonna start going to parties with my other friend too. So like I invited my other friend to this party, and then she's gonna drive, so that's good. Not do much on my makeup. I know I really can't do makeup, and people are like, if you put bronzer right here it'll look better. I did it, it looked doo-doo. It did not look good. So are you trying to make it look ugly? But yeah, I also need like income because Savannah's kind of broke, and tell me why I'm running out of everything at the same time. Like no. And yeah, but back to my classes. I already have a project for my English class, which is third block, the longest block, mind you. I have no one in that class. Everyone in that class is boring. It's like 5 people in there. Math class, I think I'm gonna switch it to another one. And then let me tell you guys about this funny like thing. So basically my school has to be like worst top 10 in like my area, like in my state. But anyway, so there's this like senior section at lunch, and I'm not a senior, I'm a junior, but all my friends were, well, my friend wanted to go stay with her friend over there, so I was like, okay, I'll go too. And we went over there, and the assistant principal is gonna be like, if you're not a senior, get out. So basically she comes over to our table, and I've never sat over there before because what do I need to sit over there for? No one I knew was sitting over there. I was just like, I don't need to do that. So then basically the assistant principal comes over, or whatever she is, there's like 10 principals. But she comes over, she's like, if you're not a senior, like, get out. Okay. So we don't move because my friend sat there last semester, so she was tight. But it's 4 people, I think. No, it was like 5 at this booth. It was like a booth. But the guy sitting next to me, he does look young, okay? He looks young. So, of course, we're the first table when she walks in, so she's like, oh, like, you look like a young senior, like, what's your last name? She looks him up, and obviously, and he's like, oh, like, this is for seniors, and she was like, do you not hear my announcement, da-da-da. So I'm, like, pulling stuff out of my book bag. I'm, like, rolling on perfume, like, just trying to not look at her, you know? So then my friend, like, sitting across from me, I know the other people, but this is, like, my friend sitting across from me, and she's like, once the guy leaves, she doesn't ask for any of the rest of our names. And she, like, gives this guy a talk, and she's like, I know your friends are seniors, but, like, you can't sit over here. I'm not a senior. None of us are seniors here. But basically, it was so funny because the assistant principal, she was like, next week, if you're sitting over here, I will send you home for 3 days. And she's not playing. They send you home 3 days for bullshit. But yeah, so basically, then she had my friend sitting across from me. She was like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I know you're a senior. And she was like, oh, no, this is what she said. She was like, I know you're a senior. Is anyone else here not a senior? And none of us said anything. We're just like, I'm just getting stuff out of my bag while she's talking. Like, not, like, obviously not, like, not looking at her, just, like, looking down. But I'm, like, grabbing stuff out of my bag, and I'm, like, rolling on perfume, like, looking at her a little bit. But, like, just trying to, like, not conversate, you know? And then she just, like, walks away and is like, okay. So we're like, oh, like, you are a senior? Oh, I didn't know you were a senior. Y'all, my stomach hurts. But anyway, that's my story, so. Also, my Wi-Fi has been out because my grandfather's in the hospital and he can't go pay the bill. And I don't want to go pay the bill because I don't know how to do that. But, yeah, so my Wi-Fi had been butt, and that's why there's no music in the background. But what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I think I'm just going to a cute coffee shop. I did invite my friend, but she thinks sleep is more important than hang out with me. And I know she's going to want to hang out later, but I'm not doing that. I feel like shit. Okay, but this is basically my makeup routine. And I want to get, like, squishy. I want to go to Target and this coffee shop. You know, it might be good. I just want to go somewhere. And it's nasty outside, but it's okay. But I love you guys so much. And if you know me, you don't. But love you guys so much. Bye.
hold up because I do want to show you guys my hair because I'm not consistent with my get readies with me. So I put it in a bonnet so it fucked up. These are my roots, but it looks bad right now. It's so short because my hair was uneven, and I also have blonde dysmorphia. So do you guys think my hair is blonde? I have blonde dysmorphia so bad. I just put baby powder in it a little bit because it's really bad. But okay, love you guys so much actually, and I need to do my mascara and stuff, but bye.